You're listening to a Mint podcast brought to you by HT Smartcast.
AI isn't emerging, it's already transforming. And it's not just changing the way we work, it's redefining how India builds, moves, and manufactures. From predictive maintenance that stops a factory shutdown before it happens, to software-defining vehicles that upgrade like smartphones. Artificial intelligence is no longer an add-on. It's the engine behind India's next wave of industrial transformation. Welcome to AI Rising. I'm your host, Nelson John. In this episode, we take you to the front lines of innovation, where smart factories are humming with automation, intelligence, and possibility. Indian manufacturers and automakers are embracing AI not just to improve efficiency, but to completely reimagine operations. Think AI-powered telematics for real-time decision-making. Think digital twins that simulate entire systems before a single bolt is turned. And powering much of this is IBM's enterprise-ready AI and data platform, WatsonX. Joining me is someone at the center of this evolution, Mr. Biswajit Bhattacharya, lead client partner and automotive industry leader at IBM Consulting, India and South Asia. With over 2 decades of global experience and a seat in IBM's prestigious Industry Academy, Mr. Biswajit helps organizations build smarter products, agile enterprises, and standout customer experiences. He's also a trusted voice at national industry platforms like CII and AmCham. So whether you're in tech, manufacturing, or just curious about the future, we've got something for you. Let's dive into the world where AI isn't rising, it's exhilarating. Mr. Biswajit, it's a real pleasure to have you with us on the show. Welcome to AI Rising.
Thanks, Nelson. Thanks for having me here today.
Pleasure's mine as well. So, Biswajit, let's start off. You've been an industry veteran with over 25 years in IBM. Let's start off with a reality check. Indian manufacturers, well, they're trying to compete on a global scale. But many are still operating with aging systems, workforce constraints, and supply chain unpredictability. It's a tough landscape to navigate. From your vantage point, how is IBM helping manufacturers modernize with AI and automation to stay ahead of the curve?
Great question to start, Nelson. Indian manufacturing segment has a vast potential, but at the same time, we are grappling with multiple challenges, and many of them are very core in nature. Whether it's a supply chain disruptions happening practically every month, there are some issues or the other. There are issues in terms of the quality in our products and operations. And there are real challenges in terms of the workforce skill gap, and that's really becoming more and more prominent as we progress further. And there are other issues like limited R&D spend and the importance of meeting the ESG goal going forward. But having said that, in IBM, the way we look at it, we are not just a technology provider. We are the transformation partners. Our goal is to help the Indian manufacturers embed AI, automation, and sustainability into every layer of their operation. Why? Because to compete globally, I believe Indian factories need more than the machines. They need a full-scale transformation, one that blends cutting-edge technology, skilled talent, and environmental responsibilities to deliver quality and quality at scale. So what does this transformation really look like in action? Through IBM Consulting, we are enabling smart and connected factories. Think AI, IoT, robotics, automation, all working together in real time, monitoring the factories and controlling the factories. You use digital twin to simulate factory operations before making any changes in the factory or in the product line. Predictive maintenance, helping manufacturers to anticipate the equipment failures even before it's happening, cutting down the whole downtime and boosting overall efficiency. Let me give an example. One leading Indian auto parts manufacturer used our AI solution to detect the micro defect, which are otherwise invisible to the naked eyes. So the result, it's better quality and lesser or no rework. Let's talk about supply chain, because in the last few years have taught us anything, that's resilience is everything. Now at IBM, we are helping manufacturers to build supply chain that are not just efficient, but agile and responsive. How? By using AI to dynamically plan, mitigate risk, and manage disruptions and that's all happening real time. We are also deploying unified data platform that gives manufacturers single view of the truth at source. And that's what is helping them to take decisions smarter and lot faster. And lastly, the sustainability is not just a buzzword. It has its own business imperative, and IBM is helping the businesses to walk that talk. IBM is helping the manufacturers to embed the circular economy principles into their operations. That means that AI to optimize the energy consumptions in their factories and reduce the carbon footprint. So where does AI really shine? It's creating value across the board. See, in IBM, we have an IBM Institute of Business Value. We did a study recently, and it was done specifically for auto sector, and we did it for the larger markets, including India. And here's something exciting from that. 61% of the auto executive we surveyed believed AI will significantly boost revenue in just 3 years. See, we are committed to responsible AI, which means that it's fair, explainable, and secure. And with that, we believe that we should be able to help our clients or the manufacturing organizations in their work towards Make in India initiative and work towards the Vikshit Bharat initiative, which the government is already propagating.
Right. So, Biswajit, so you mentioned that, there are some automakers using AI to, detect minute discrepancies in their manufacturing and all of that. So, could you, share with us a real world example or a client story where this transformation really made a difference?
So, see, let me give you a example of really what's happening. See, you have operations data which is there, and from that standpoint, we are able to capture those data from various IoT devices, the SCADA, etc., at a real-time level. And with our solution, which is WatsonX in this particular case, we are able to leverage those data points and see any abnormality vis-a-vis the expected outcome which is there. And based on that, and to put on top of that is the computer vision what we have. And with that, we are able to detect those discrepancies, if I may use that particular word, vis-a-vis the expected outcome or the designed outcome what was there. So these are something which are already in place in multiple organizations. We are running this kind of solutions and getting a benefit of it. Let me give you another example. Paint shops in automotive industry is typically an area where which is also it's a hazardous area for a worker to really work. Now, can I use computer vision over here? Okay, and get the anomalies detected right at source, which is otherwise not accessible to a human being or a human worker over there. And this is what we have been seeing. Various clients of ours are started using it and getting the benefit and able to reduce lot of rework which was needed at a later point of time to remove those anomalies. And in that whole process, you are bringing in the whole efficiency. You are bringing in a lot more energy saving, as also in case of a paint shop, which is a very high energy consumption unit. So there are very clear benefits both in terms of cost, quality, and efficiency over here.
Right. So it's clearly not just about plugging new tech. It's about, how you can rethink processes, people, and potential with AI at the core. Right.
Absolutely.
So, switching gears a bit here, I want to talk about mobility a bit more, since so there was a time when, when people would just walk into a showroom, right? They would talk about, they would find out about what's the engine type, what is the horsepower, what's the mileage and all of that. Today, when somebody walks into a showroom, they ask what does the car has to offer with related to technology? Is the car connected? Does it have ADAS? If yes, is it level 1, 2? Does it have automation? All of that, So how is IBM supporting Indian manufacturers through this transition to a software-defined vehicle from more from outside of mechanical to a more software-driven vehicle,
See, automotive industry, which is probably is a 100-year-old industry, hasn't really changed much in the last 100 years. But now, because the way the consumers are expecting and some of the things what you talked about, the way people are buying cars today, they are forced to reimagine their overall business models, including their products, as well as the way they sell their products. And as a part of the reimagining process, what they're looking at to bring a lot more digital technologies into their product and operation. And along with that, the business models and the operating models are also changing from that standpoint. So the shift towards software-defined vehicle, which you just talked about, or autonomous driving, ADAS, is not just coming, it's already underway, whether it's globally or in an Indian market. But having said that, these technologies also come at a cost, and there are challenges essentially. We see that there is a significant cost involved in terms of the leaders, the radars and cameras and the AI chips which needs to get inside the car. There are concerns in terms of infrastructure, road infrastructure I'm talking about over here, the signage, the lane discipline, and other ecosystems which are needed for these technologies to really work. Regulations is probably work in progress at this point of time from this standpoint. And as the vehicle becoming a lot more software driven, cybersecurity risks are also kind of there. And to kind of top it off, while there's a segment of consumer who are really looking for all these technologies, there's a consumer awareness issue which is also there in general. So now, having said that, these are the challenges which are very specific to India. The way what we see is it needs a collaborative effort with multiple ecosystem players coming together, and that's the approach what IBM is looking at. We're looking at working together with the OEMs, the auto component manufacturers in some of the places, the regulatory bodies, and as well as a lot of other tech companies, including startups. So we're looking at using AI foundation models to power the in-vehicle analytics for ADAS, infotainment, or the driver monitoring systems, AI ops to ensure the secure and scalable deployment across the vehicle platform, looking at IoT and Edge AI for capture the vehicle data in real time so that we are able to do the diagnostics at a real time level. We are able to understand the driving behavior. And in case of our EV, we are able to ensure that smart charging is also happening. This AI-powered telematics is also able to provide us predictive maintenance capability and a route optimization at a real-time level. And in case of an EV, we are able to do a better manage the battery health a lot better. See, the outcome is at the end of the day, better uptime, smarter energy use, and more importantly, a seamless customer experience. That's where you started off. And that's the whole reason why this journey has started in the industry. And we are, as I said, we are working collaboratively. Now, look at a scenario where AI cobot is offering you a proactive service alert or a digital dashboard that's providing you a real-time insight the way you are driving the vehicle and give you tips what can be done better. Now, these are the kind of personalization what we are talking about. And this is possible as you bring more software into the vehicle, as you bring more AI capability into the vehicle. We're talking about a frictionless, trusted journey across the entire vehicle cycle. See, and talking about trust, that's everything. And that's why we also, when we look at building the solution, we ensure that the security and the governance is at every layer of the AI stack is maintained and managed. That's the approach what we are looking at as far as ADAS and autonomous driving is concerned.
Right. So the road ahead isn't just electric. It's going to be intelligent, connected, and of course, privacy first.
Yeah, just to kind of add to your point, see, the industry has started a journey what they call CASE. It's connected, autonomous, shared, and electrified. And from that standpoint, and that's something which has evolved into a software-defined vehicle. So we are talking about a completely different experience going forward, and that's not far. It's happening, and the whole mobility experience is going to be very different in the next couple of years for all of us.
Right, like enough. So, getting under the hood a bit, as we all know, the IBM has a powerful stack. You mentioned about WatsonX, from WatsonX to the digital twins, AI-powered telematics, and the sustainability tool Envisy, all of it. All of these are driving innovations in different ways. How are these technologies actually helping your clients to innovate, while also keeping ESG and sustainability goals?
Yeah, let's start with the sustainability or the ESG part of it. See, one thing what I will say, Industry 4.0 has really playing a crucial role for organizations, India and globally, to really put this sustainability and the ESG goal on the forefront. And at IBM, we are also helping the organization to meet their ESG goal through a very clear approach, which is data-driven, AI-powered, and what we call hybrid by design approach. Let me break it down for you. You talked about WatsonX. So with WatsonX, one can build custom AI model that can optimize the energy used in their operation, whether it's factory or warehouse or other operations. And in that process, reduce emission. And also it can also improve the worker safety. We use the WatsonX.data to unify the ESG related data across operations, whether factory, supply chain, and various other operations of the organization. WatsonX.governance ensures transparency, fairness, and compliance, which is very critical in the whole AI journey for any organization. Let me give you an example. Again, an auto OEM used in WatsonX model to reduce the CO2 emission across its supply chain, just by doing two things: optimizing logistics and recalibrating their production schedule. Now, let's move to IBM Envisy. That's our sustainability analytics platform. It helps companies to track and report carbon emission, energy uses, and any wastage in their operations. So it can pull data from all the IoT sensors, ERP systems, or any plant operation system, and many more, and gives you a unified ESG view. So once again, how does it help? Let me give another example. A manufacturer is using ESG to monitor their energy uses across their plant and getting that unified view. And with that data point, he's able to identify the area where he can optimize his performance and able to cut emission by 15% in just a year's time. So that's the kind of possibilities which we are able to bring it for our client. Moving on to the AI-powered telematics, which is specifically for auto OEMs where we have been working with. It's a game changer for many of them. And I talked about CASE. This is the connected or the aspect of it. See, it monitors the vehicle performance, fuel efficiency, and even suggests the best way to drive the vehicle to get your best fuel efficiency. For EVs, it can help you to do the smart charging and track your battery health throughout. So there are examples where organizations as well as the consumers, fleet operators, they're able to cut their fuel consumption by around 10 to 15% by leveraging those AI-led insights from what they are getting at a real-time level. See, ESG is not about just compliance. It's about building a better and more responsive business. So what I'll say, our IBM solution is helping companies to do three things. A, lower emission and design more sustainable products for them. Second, creating a safer and more inclusive workplace. And third, ensure transparency and accountability in their operations, in their governance process.
So you're saying like with all these solutions and all of that, sustainability and profitability can go hand in hand with these stacks, right?
Absolutely. It's more than that. See, the example what we were talking about where companies are able to cut down on their energy consumptions. Now, if you're able to cut down energy consumption, that's add to your bottom line. So it's not just you're not compromising on your profitability or financial performance. You're improving the financial performance while you're meeting your ESG goals. So it's a benefit what one can really look for, and that's the reason it's not about just doing it to meet certain compliance requirement. It's about how to do the business in a better way for your employees, for your consumers, and for your partners, and the society at a large.
Right. And which of these solutions, that you mentioned earlier, are you seeing the most traction for in the Indian market specifically?
See, in Indian market, we have been seeing definitely Watson suite of product, what we call, is something which is getting popular in Indian market, definitely, and we are seeing more and more customers really liking it and using it. And in the automotive, the OEM space, IBM is already working with a lot of our customers with our AI-powered connected solutions. And this is something which this market is definitely growing for all of us collectively.
Right. Talking about this OEM space itself, one area that's, generating a lot of buzz right now is data fabric and edge intelligence. Factories are becoming more connected. Their need for real-time insights and orchestration becomes absolutely critical. Could you break down how IBM is using these to bring real-time insights into traditional factory settings, and what kind of impact it is having today?
Yeah, a good point. See, in fact, the Industry 4.0 or 5.0 is we are generating more and more data at every factory today. Now, how do you leverage this data to your benefit is something that's where the whole IBM data fabric approach is kind of built on. See, it connects all the data points, no matter where it lives and whatever format it is. So it's enabling the real-time access at edge and integrates AI and analytics and ensure the data is shared securely. So let me talk about the 5 things what we are able to get out of the data fabric approach, or the benefit what the customers of ours are getting. The real-time access of data at edge. Run AI analytics where the data is getting generated, and that's something which is very important. Make faster and smarter decision based on the data at a real-time level. Sharing of data securely across the team within the organization and with the partners and with various ecosystem players which are there as a part of the operations. And very importantly, scale effortlessly as the data grows. See, we are talking about a more resilient operation, faster response time, and building a foundation for a continuous innovation for the organization. See, whether it's AI, sustainability, or digital transformation, what IBM Consulting is looking at is helping client building a smarter factories or vehicle. It's talking about building a smarter future for the organization. And that's the approach what we have been taking in the market.
So with this, what kind of value do you see manufacturers getting from this shift? Is it efficiency, cost savings, or is there anything else?
See, let me put it this way. Number one, essentially, is that the biggest benefit what organization is able to get essentially is to make operation resilient. See, today each business goes through multiple disruption. I mean, if I talk about automotive industry, when we had COVID in 2020, once the COVID issues was kind of getting managed, we get into a major issue of semiconductor shortages across industries. Okay, as things were getting kind of normalized, we also hear about the rare earth minerals which are becoming a challenge for the EV motors today. So supply chain disruptions which are going to be there, various reasons, geopolitical or local issues or environmental issues which will be there. Now, how you make your operation resilient enough is something which is the biggest challenge which each and every board is struggling today. And that's where this approach is really helping the organization. Secondly, as I was saying that the data fabric approach is able to integrate all sorts of data into one place, and with AI, it's able to create a very clear narrative of the data for the senior leaders to take decisions without involvement of an IT or a data engineer to kind of help them out. So and that's the biggest game changer, what I'll say for the businesses, and it's a foundation for a continuous innovation for the organization. Now, all of them translate into business benefit, not just at a short-term level. I'm talking about the financial benefits, also for a long-term level, because each of them are very, very strategic and at a foundation level for an organization.
All right, Biswajit, before we wrap things up, I want to touch on something that's at the heart of every AI conversation. And you've mentioned this at the very beginning of our conversation. That's trust. With AI becoming more embedded in core industrial workflows, there's a growing focus on ethics, transparency, and compliance. How is IBM making sure AI is being adopted responsibly in a way where it's transparent and trustworthy, and also aligned with the evolving regulations?
Yeah, great question, Nelson. See, AI is very much there. Each and every board has a mandate to really leverage AI to improve their business operation, improve the experience for their consumers. So from that standpoint, we also need to look at what are the adoption challenges which are there. And let me kind of classify into 4 areas. One is regulatory compliances. Second, addressing bias which evolves out of any AI model and its training process. Third, how do you ensure that the personal data, whether it's of your employee or your consumer or in your partners, how do you protect that? And how do you ensure the transparency of the AI decisions which are there? Now, the way I see it, it's a balancing act which an organization needs to really look at while they innovate their businesses using AI. These are the challenges also needs to be looked at it. Now, IBM's approach for AI ethics is clearly guided by the principle of trust and transparency. And we look at 4 pillars from that standpoint. Explainability. So any AI decision should be able to be explained if required at a step-by-step level. Fairness, it should be devoid of any bias. Third, it needs to be robust and scalable. And fourth, and that's the privacy. How do we maintain the privacy of the various data points which you have been taking it from various sources? So it's about putting the right guardrail, and that's the approach what we do when we get into the AI journey with our clients. We also advise clients to do a holistic AI strategy before you get into this thing. And that's where we can set up this framework for our clients specific to their needs, specific to their organization culture and the people who have been doing it. And we also look at tools which we'll be able to monitor and do the audit trail. Audit is something which is important over here, which actually helps us to relook at the various decisions and if any modification needs to be there, should be able to be carried out and so that we ensure that we are compliant, we are not having any bias, our privacy is maintained, and overall transparency is there. So that is a very clear approach which IBM has been taking, or rather I'll put it as a cautious approach what we are taking as we get into the AI journey with our clients.
Right. Talking about compliance and, regulations, regulations is evolving, and are there any regulatory trends globally that India should be paying close attention to?
See, I think there are a lot of work which is already happening by the regulatory bodies and there are many acts which are also on the anvil. And IBM is collaborating with all the right regulatory bodies and to ensure that we have the right processes and the right regulations in place from that standpoint.
Right, So, but before I let you go here on AI Rising, I've got to ask you one thing. You've been spending years helping businesses stay agile. But, what keeps you agile? I also understand you're a fitness enthusiast and a marathoner. How does fitness shape your approach to leadership?
See, fitness keeps your mind fresh. And I think as we are talking about fairness in AI, see, one of the very, very clear requirement to be a leader is that you need to be fair to your team, fair to your clients, and fair to all the partners whom you work as a part of that process. So that's what I'll say. It's keep my brain a lot more agile and fresh, and I'm a happy individual, and ensure that my client is also happy.
Wonderful. So do you have a calendar mark for the next marathon?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. It needs to be in winter sometime.
Wow, that's gold. Whether it's transformation, roadmap, or marathon, the finish line rewards those who pace smart and stay the course. Leadership is a long distance sport, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a journey. It's not a one day game.
Absolutely. Mr. Biswajit, thank you so much for sharing these insights and giving us a front row seat to the change that's underway.
Thanks for having me today. It has been a pleasure talking to you, Nelson. Thank you.
The pleasure is mine as well. As we've heard today, AI in manufacturing and mobility isn't just about technology. It's about transformation with purpose. From optimizing operations to reimagining vehicles, and from edge intelligence to responsible AI, the landscape is evolving fast, and India is clearly at the driver's seat. To our listeners and viewers, if this episode sparked a new perspective, don't forget to follow AI Rising on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, stay curious, stay future ready, stay sharp. This is Nelson John, your host, signing off.
To stay updated on this podcast, follow us at HT Smartcast on all the major social media platforms. To listen to more such podcasts, log on to www.htsmartcast.com.